You know, that's a good team, and I use the word team. I think it's important. I thought they played a very good team ball, team offense in particular. When you think about the game, you know, I think in part that's a team that was challenged a week ago against the University of Virginia, a top 2 team. They were stressed. They fell way behind and had to fight back. I think that helped develop a little toughness. I think that showed today. I thought we were a team that last week had it easier, and I thought that showed. And I thought, quite frankly, if I had to guess what Monday's practice or Tuesday's practice looked like, I'm going to say theirs was a little bit hungrier, a little more intense, and ours was a little bit more comfortable, coming off you know, a pretty convincing and fairly easy win. When you break down the game, you know, it comes down to a couple of things. One is the first and third quarter. It's 3-1 them in both quarters. We tie in the second, we win the fourth. So those 3 quarters, we were pleased a week ago that we started fast. I did not think we did a good job of that today at all, and didn't do a great job in the start of the third quarter, which last week we had a bit of an issue with early as well with Towson. And then you look at the ground balls and the face-offs, and when you take that and you add those extra possessions, you know, to me that's the difference in the game. I thought last week we came up with the tougher loose balls. I thought those 50-50 ground balls, those 40-60 ground balls, Towson, we came up with, and I actually thought today they came up with those, and those usually come at a pretty with a pretty price. You know, I don't think we were horrible on defense. I thought we played way too much. You know, I thought we too many little errors. You know, too many drop balls. We come down on the clear. We clear it. They ride. They're one of the better riding teams I've seen. I thought they did a great job riding Virginia last week. So we prepared for it. We gave our poles a little bit more leeway carry over. I thought the poles actually did a good job. We have an exchange down the side. We put it right on the guy's stick and he drops it. We go offside one time with a freshman. And, you know, it's those little mistakes that help a good team and allow you to beat yourselves. And I don't mean to say that in the wrong fashion. But we didn't help ourselves. You know, a feed on man up off our back foot. You know, that's not what we do. You know, a situation where we step off sides and it's a quick restart and they get one. So I don't think we did a good job helping ourselves today. And I thought Loyola was better than us, in particular in the first and third quarters and off the ground.
Dave, I think Joey got the start today, but I think maybe after the first quarter, you pulled it. Was it the case where he just wasn't?
You know what, Ed? Everybody's held to the same standard. You play well, you play. You don't play well, and if it's not, you know, if it's not within the framework of the team, you sit down. That's the way it is at every position. You know, face-offs, goalies. You know, that's the standard, and we have expectations as to what we want to do in the offensive end, and clearly Joey was pressing, you know, and he's one of our most competitive guys, and I'm sure it's killing him right now. But Joey Epstein's not the reason why we weren't successful today, but we just felt like, you know, it was better. We had talked about should we start him, should we not. We had talked about that, but he did practice throughout the week. Tough to sit, you know, arguably your best offensive player a year ago and not get him in there, and you know, you hope that he can, but you can't fit a whole preseason into a quarter. And I would say it's not for any other reason than he cares tremendously. And I got a lot of faith in him. We're going to be able to count on him. We're going to count on him, and I'm sure he'll be back. But no one's tougher on him than him. So not much for us. No need for us to say much. I think he knows, and he knows why we sat him and put someone else in.
Offensively, different game this week than last week. From your perspective, what wasn't working on offense?
I think the big thing offensively was that we just took a couple shots that I think we wish we had back in the long run. I think last week we did a good job stepping up and making some plays when we got the opportunity. And this week I think we kind of played a little timid and forced some of those, and I think that kind of hurt our flow. So yeah, I would just say those kind of small plays here and there that I think would help us kind of get our flow and get our feet underneath us a little bit in the long run.
Dave, last week you talked a lot about a team victory, a lot of other guys stepping up and contributing, and you kind of brought it up at the beginning of this in relation to Loyola. Did you kind of feel that just overall as a team, do you feel disjointed at all, or just you can get a good kind of team effort in offense?
Do I think we're disjointed? No. Do I think we played well? No. But you play like you practice, and like I said when I started, it's important to be realistic, and we talk to our guys all the time about being realistic and about meeting standards. And we've talked last week. We talked about one thing: 1-0. That was it. That was the goal for the week, was to be 1-0, and for us to focus on the things each day it would take to earn that one. Again, we come back this week. The goal was to be 1-0. And I don't believe that we did the things that we needed to do every day in practice to do that. These little things, this offsides that you have, this drop ball, a lack of focus at this moment, not coming out of the gates, as hungry as you should. That's a product of our win and not putting that win behind us. Teams want to put losses behind them, but they don't want to put wins behind them. They want to remember the wins. And I think it's easier to lose and turn around and play than it is to win and turn around and play, because needs are met when you win. People get comfortable, and that's the last thing this team can afford to do. We have to do a better job of living in the uncomfortable, and that means on Monday showing up and getting after it in the weight room, getting after it in practice. Whatever it is we do, we've got to do that the same. Win or lose, the standard doesn't change. The expectations of what a guy practices like doesn't change. So I still have great confidence in this group. They've done a good job with peer leadership, and our leadership hopefully learned a valuable lesson today, and will adjust to that, and will do the things that needs to be done this week so that we don't repeat the same mistakes.
Dave, Owen Colwell left early in the third quarter. Did he return to the game?
Yeah, he's fine. He made a great hit, and two big guys knock heads, and he went out and came back in. So it's another opportunity for Paul Steele to step in the game and get some valuable time. And again, it goes to show why it's important every day in practice that every guy prepare like he's a starter. And I'm sure at that moment Paul wasn't sure he'd get that moment, and he did. We've got to make sure, across the board that those standards are met, that everybody prepares like a starter.
Did you notice, was Loyola doing anything differently to limit Cole after the week that he had last week?
I like to believe more often than not Cole limits Cole, and I don't mean that negatively toward him. Loyola does a very good job. They play their hands really well. They play a bit of a different style. I thought their short sticks was a real strength of theirs today. We had a lot of respect coming into the game with those guys, but with Cole, they do a good job of playing his hands. If they stay on the double a little bit longer than maybe some other teams, which forces him to hold the ball. They stretch out a little bit adjacent. And I thought in the second half we actually adjusted that. In the fourth quarter in particular, we adjusted to that. But we can't rely on just Cole. Last week we were excited because we played team offense, and a lot of other guys, stepped up. And today we needed more of that.
Any other questions?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.